Hello and welcome to my latest video. In this video I am going to be crocheting a unicorn. I will show you the set that I picked up from a charity shop. I only paid £2.60 for it, and I'm just gonna crochet up a little unicorn. It's just for practice for me, really. Apologies for the light. I can see that I'm coming out quite I don't know what the wording is, but yeah, my lighting's good on this side but not so great on that side. But anyway, let me turn around the camera and I will show you what I'm going to be making today. Okay, so I purchased this pack from, like I said, a local charity shop. I think it was like a freebie on a crochet mag. So this little guy is who I am planning on making. Now, like I said, I paid £2.60 for the pack. But there are other patterns within that little book, but they just give you the bits of yarn and everything for the unicorn. I haven't actually checked to see whether it was complete. I know it has been opened, so I'm going to run through it and see what I've got. If I need to add bits and pieces, I'm sure I've probably got bits and pieces that I can add. But yeah, let's get this out of the packet. So within the pack they did include a 4mm crochet hook, like the kind of little bamboo ones. I might end up using that rather than the one that I've pulled out because I can't find my crochet hook that I like using at the moment. It's probably attached to a project somewhere, but hey. They also included the yarn for like the white yarn. Now I know one of them looks like it has started to be used, although I do think we're probably going to have enough to make the unicorn. If I have a look at it, I think that's probably going to be way enough. There's a little bit of toy stuffing. I've actually got my own anyway, so that's really not important for me because I always have some of this at home. And then the bits of thread, including the little eyes for the unicorn as well. So there's the gold thread for well, it's all sticky, that yeah, see the gold thread for the unicorn's little, you know, unicorny bit, and then obviously the coloured yarn for his like mane and his tail. So that looks cool. That still looks like it hasn't been touched, but like I said, even if it has, I'm sure I could come up with a few colours from my own stash anyway. They also included obviously the book, which I think I showed you. There are other patterns in here that you can also do. So there we go. Do a quick flick through. So that's the one that we're going to be focusing on, is making the unicorn. And then it's little, well, it looks like Little Red Riding Hood and the wolf. And then like a little dragon. That looks pretty cute. And what else have we got? Little fairy. And the like the little cats. Those are quite cute as well. Not sure if I show any of the other projects, but yeah. So anyway, let's get on and start doing the unicorn. In the instructions it does give us all like the rundown of what you need. Hopefully they're all going to be there. It does say extra stitch markers. I've got those, so that is absolutely fine. We're going to start off making the unicorn's head, so I'm going to get that started and I will come back to you in a little while. Okay, so I don't know whether you can see that, but you have to start off with a magic loop and then do 6 double crochets in to the magic loop. You can then tighten it, which I have done. Second round is 2 double crochets into each of those 6 double crochets that you've done in your first round. So you're doubling your stitches basically, so you're going to go from 6 to 12. So I'm going to continue to do that. Rounds 3 and 4, it looks like you're just doing like straight double crochets. So this is the head, so I'm guessing we're starting off with like the nose section of the head. Anyway, I'll give you an update a little bit later. I have done rounds 1, 2, 3 and 4. 5 is going to be an increase, so the next few rounds are going to be working on shaping. So round 5 we are going to be doing 2 double crochets into the same stitch, and then we're just going to do 1 double crochet in the following stitch. So you're going to be adding 6 stitches across the round. So by the end of the round you're going to end up with 18 stitches. And then I've read on a little bit, so round 6 looks like it's going to be shaping, because although it's kind of evenly, it's like the shaping is like you're adding stitches evenly, they're in slightly different places, if you get what I mean. But I'll let you know about that when we get to it. Okay, so hopefully after round 5 you have something that looks a little bit like that. Now for the next round we're going to be doing 3 double crochets. When I say 3 double crochets, it's not in the same stitch, so we're just going to be doing like 3 double crochets for the next 3 stitches, and then we're going to do 2 double crochets into the same stitch, and then you're going to do 2 double crochets into the next 2 stitches, and then continue that 3 times. You're meant to repeat the 2 double crochets into the same stitch and then the 2 double crochets on their own, and then we are going to do 6 double crochets at the end. So by the end of it we're going to have 21 stitches. I hope that makes sense. Okay, so that's what it looks like after round 7. So you can see like it's becoming more, we are doing more shaping and making it bigger. Now, so round 6, sorry, it was round 6 we've just finished. We're actually going on to round 7 now. Round 7 starts off the same, so 3 double crochets, and then we're going to be doing 2 double crochets into the same stitch, and then 3 double crochets, and you repeat the 2 double crochets and the 3 double crochet 3 times, and then you end with doing 6 double crochets. By the end of that round you should have 24 stitches, so we're only adding 3 stitches on this round. Okay, so this is the end of round 7, so you can see you've got more of a straighter edge here and more of the shaping where we've added the stitches around here. Now round 8 again is a increase row, similar to the rounds 6 and 7. We're just going to be adding an extra DC after the increase stitch. So we are going to be starting off with 3 double crochets, then we're going to be doing 2 double crochets into the same stitch, and then 4 double crochets, and you repeat the 2 double crochet into the next stitch and the 4 double crochet 4 times, and then we finish off with just 6 double crochets, which is starting to give us a bit of a straighter edge. So I'm going to get on and do that, and then I will come back to you in a little bit. Okay, so I've just finished round 8. It looks something like this so far. Now we are going to start going on to our rounds where we're not going to be shaping at all. So rounds 9 to 13 are just double crochet into each one of those stitches. You should have 27 stitches. I don't know whether I've said that. You should have 27 stitches according to the pattern, and then also by the looks of it we're going to be putting the eyes in as well. So between round 7 and 8, approximately 8 stitches apart. So I'm going to get on with those rounds and then see about placing the eyes, and I'll get back to you in a little bit. Okay, so I've just finished round 13, which was where am I? Round 13. So it was the last round that we're not going to increase or decrease. So I think we ended up doing 5 rows in total where we didn't do any shaping at all. You have something that looks a little like that. Now I've got to place the eyes. Now for the eyes, it's asking you to place them around rounds 7 and 8, so between them, and approximately about 8 stitches apart. So to do that, we're going to start working out where our rounds are. So I'm holding it this way because I believe this is like his little nose. So and the shaping has been mainly around this area here. Yeah, around this area here. So so to get to the right round, so we're going to count up. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So eyes are going to be round about here, I think. So let me just have a look. 5, 6, 7. Yeah, so that's round 7. That's going to be around 8. Okay, so what I'm going to do, because they're approximately 8 stitches apart, I've actually got the eyes to hand now, and they were still in the plastic bag, and they're like the safety eyes, so you attach that as well on the other side to keep them in place so they don't move, all of that stuff. Right, so there I believe to be like the center of the front of his head. So we are going to go, we're going to do 4 stitches one way, 4 stitches the other. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm going to place it there. Now I'm not going to secure him in place until I'm happy with the placement on both sides. So we've got 1, 2, 3. I'm going to go with 4. 1, 2, 3. And 4 is there. There we go. So I'm going to secure those in place. It does tell you to stuff the head at this point, because now going on to round 14, 15, 16 and 17, they're all decreased rows. So I'm going to just secure the eyes and then give it a little stuff, because I'm not going to fully stuff it. I'll probably stuff as I go along and as we're closing up like the back of the unicorn's head. Okay, so this is our little guy so far. Really starting to take a little bit of shape, obviously, because I've stuffed him. I'm not going to stuff him much more than that, because obviously we're going to start closing. It will get a little bit easier to kind of keep that stuffing in place once we start closing his head off a little bit. So we're going to go into round 14, which is 7 double crochets, and then we are going to double crochet 2 together, and we're going to do that 7 times. So we are going to end up with, so we're going from 27 to 24, so we're going to be decreasing 3 stitches evenly across that round. Okay, so end of round 14. He looks like that. We've only lost 3, like decreased 3 stitches. I say lost, we needed to lose them, so we only decreased 3 stitches across that round. Round 15 is slightly different, because we're actually going to be decreasing 6 stitches in this one. So we're starting off with 24 stitches, and we're going to be going down to 18. So it's 2 double crochets, and then it's going to be double crochet 2 together, and you want to repeat that 6 times, and I will show you what we're left with. Now it's going to start getting smaller and smaller here, so this is where I'm probably going to stuff it a little bit more at the end of rounds 15, because when I go to round 16 we're again dropping another 6 stitches, so it's going to be a little bit harder and harder to kind of stuff. So I'll probably stuff again at the end of round 15, and then I'll see whether I need to stuff at the end of round 16. Round 17 is going to be like, we're pretty much fastening off at that point, so I'm not sure that we're going to be able to stuff much on the at the end of round 17 because of the space that we're going to have. So I'm going to get on and do round 15 and I'll come back to you in a bit. As you can see, it's getting smaller and smaller here. I have done a little bit more stuffing. I'm hoping to do a bit more stuffing on at the end of round 16, I want to say. Yeah, at the end of round 16. But here there's only going to be like 12 stitches to kind of work with, so there is still a little bit more room where I could put a bit more stuffing in, but it's just going to make it really awkward to kind of crochet at the same time. So anyway, so round 16 we are going to go and yeah, so it's another 6 stitches we're going to be decreasing across the round. So we're going to go from 18 stitches down to 12 stitches. So it's 1 double crochet and then double crochet 2 together, and you repeat that 6 times over the round, so it's like evenly spaced. So that is what your head should look like. We are just going to do a final decrease round. So I have stuffed it quite a lot. You can see there's a little bit of stuffing kind of poking out the top there, and we are going to so we're going to double crochet 2 together 6 times. So basically we're going to be decreasing this whole row. So we're going to go from 12 stitches down to 6, and then this is where we're going to fasten off, and it says to weave in our ends. So I'm assuming that we're going to make sure we try and close this off when it comes to fastening off. It doesn't say that in the pattern, but I'm assuming that's what they want us to do, because yeah, I don't think, yeah, the way we attach the head to the body, we're going to want to close the loop off at the end. So I'm going to get on and do this decrease row, and I'll show you what he looks like. I mean, he's pretty much going to look like that, but with that closed. And then we'll move on to, I think it's the ears we have to go on and make, or is it the horn? I can't remember. Okay, so this is what I've ended up with at the end. So that is his head. That's the end bit. To fasten off, I just weaved my the rest of the yarn around in a circle. I pulled it tighter, and it's kind of secured it. Now, to get rid of the loose end that there was, I just kind of threaded it through and poked it towards the front, and held it tight enough so that when I let go, the yarn would just go back inside so that you can't see it. So there we go. That is his head with his eyes complete. We're definitely making the ears next, because I've just looked at the pattern. So we're gonna go on to making the ears and doing the ear placement, and then it's gonna be like the horn. Okay, so we are gonna start with the ears. I'll probably do this bit on camera because they're not very long. So I'm gonna chain 4. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we are going to do 1 double crochet into the second chain from the hook. So we're going to miss that one and go into that one. Oops. Okay, so that's 1 DC. And then we are going to be doing a DC into each of the second, like this one and this one, so the 2 next stitches on the chain. It's 2 and 3. Okay, and then we are going to turn the work. We're going to do a chain of 1, and then we are going to DC into each one of those stitches. So that's 1. Sorry, it's a bit fiddly, you probably can't see it properly. 2 and 3. Okay, so that's the first 2 rows. Okay, the next row, again, at the end of that row, we're going to turn our work, chain 1, and we are going to skip first stitch and then do 2 double crochets. So we're going to skip that one and go into the next 2. So that's 1, 2. So now we've only got 2 stitches. We're going to turn our work, chain 1, and then again we're going to skip the first stitch and just go into the second stitch with a double crochet, and that is 1 stitch, and then it just says fasten off, so that we've got a bit of a tail end to do like the sewing into, you know, to attach the ear to the head. Anyway, I'm not going to make the second one on camera. I'll do that one off camera, and I'll get back to you in a bit. Okay, so the pattern reads to place the ears approximately between rounds 13 and 14 of the head. I've just put like a little pin in to where between the 13th and 14th rows are. That is kind of fairly centered. I'm working with the eyes as well, so I'm probably going to be placing the ears approximately around there. So let me just place one with another pin. So I'm probably going to be placing approximately about there. So I'm going to get on and do that, and I'll show you what he looks like once that's been done. Okay, so his head is really starting to come along now. I placed his ears, and now we have got to do his horn, and then I think we're going to just move on to the body, because I don't think we do the hair until the last section. So once all of his body and everything like that's been done, and then we'll do his like mane and his tail. So that's what it looks like so far. We've got to go off to the shop, I think. Yeah, we've got to leave to go to the shop, so I am going to stop here, and I will carry on with this a bit later. That's where we are at. We've just finished the head and placed his ears. We're actually going to be working on the horn now, which is going to be in the gold strand. It's actually quite nice. Might be a little bit fiddly to crochet with, but we'll see how we go. Anyway, we've got a chain 7, and then once we have our 7, we are going to be doing double crochets into the second stitch from the chain, and then a DC in each of the following kind of stitches. So at the end of that, you'll have 6 stitches. So I'm going to get on and do that. Okay, so I didn't really enjoy that, if I'm honest, because I found this yarn a bit fiddly. Maybe I did my chains stitches a little bit too tight, but I do have the 6 stitches that are needed to go into like the second row. The second row, it looks like we're doing some shaping, so we're going to be doing like a chain of 1, skipping that first stitch, and then doing 5 double crochets, and then turning the work. So I'm going to continue with that. This has only got 8 rounds, 8 rows, sorry, because we're not working in the round here, we're working alternate sides. Yeah, so, and each time, so row 3 is going to be like chain 1, and then you skip the next stitch, and then you're only working those the 4 double crochets, so at the end of it you're only going to have the 4 stitches, whereas at the end of row 2 you have the 5 stitches. Anyway, I'm going to get on and carry on with this, and then I'll come back to you once I've finished the horn, and then hopefully it'll be just like attaching it to his head. Okay, so that's what you end up with, like a triangle kind of shaped bit of material. You then have to fold it in half. And the reason why I've kept that quite long is because we are then going to sew that along that line to create the horn. Yeah, I found it quite fiddly, if I'm honest. Like I said, it's probably just down to like the yarn that you're using, because it is a little bit textured. It does fray as well. So yeah, it's a bit annoying, but I suppose if you want a gold horn, then that's what you end up with, really. But anyway, I'm going to get on and sew this, and then I will come back to you once I'm sewing it into place on the unicorn's head. Okay, so I have stuffed the horn with a little bit of the gold material just to kind of fill it out a bit. I didn't like how flimsy it felt, if I'm honest. So according to the pattern book, you need to place it between rows 9 and 11, so approximately there. I think that's pretty much centered, so the little horn is going to go in there. So I'm going to get on and sew that into place, and then we're going to be working on the unicorn body. Okay, I'm absolutely loving how he's starting to look. Yeah, so that's him so far. Right, we're going to move on to the body. The body, we are going to make a magic loop, and we're going to do chain 1 and then 6 double crochet into the loop. So at the end of the round we're going to have 6 stitches. So I'm going to get on and start with that, and I'll get back to you when we are starting round 2. Okay, so I've done the first row, so I've got 6 stitches in my round. Round 2 we are increasing, and we are going from 6 stitches to 12, so we are going to do 2 DCs in each of those 6 stitches. I forgot the word. Anyway, I'm going to get on with round 2, and I will come back to you when we're moving on to round 3. So round 3, again we're going to be increasing, but this time we're only increasing 6 stitches across the round. Whereas we doubled our stitch count on round 2, we're only going to be adding 6 stitches. So we're going to be doing 2 double crochets into the first stitch, and then 1 double crochet in the following stitch, and we're going to repeat that all the way around, and by the end of the round we will have 18 stitches. Rounds 4 to 8, we are not going to be increasing at all, which is quite interesting. I think we're just getting the shape of the body there. So I'm going to get on with round 3, and I will come back to you in a little bit. Okay, so I'm at the end of round 3. I've got 18 stitches now. Now, like I said earlier, rounds 4 to 8 are just double crochet in each of those 18 stitches for those next 4 rounds. I'm going to go on and do that, and I'll come back to you when we are back on to round 9. We are, I've just done the 4 rows of no increases. So that was 4 rows of just doing double crochet into each of the stitches. So there was, you should have had 18 stitches for those rows. Now row 9 is going on to another increase, but we're not increasing by much. I think we're adding about 3 stitches. It's 5 double crochets and then 2 double crochets into the same stitch. I'm going to repeat that all the way around. The pattern says it's repeated 3 times. I hope that works out. I was thinking it probably does. Okay, so I'm back after finishing round 9. I've got 21 stitches. We're moving on to our final increase round, or I'm moving on to my final increase round. Pattern says to do 6 double crochets and then 2 double crochets into the same stitch. Repeat it 3 times and we should end up with 24 stitches at the end of the round. Then we will be doing some rounds with no increases, and then it looks like we'll be decreasing after that. So I'm going to get on and do my final increase round, and I'll get back to you in a bit. So its body's really starting to come along now. Now we have got rows 11 to 13, which are just double crochet into each one of those 24 stitches, and then we start with decreasing. We don't have that many rounds left, to be quite honest, so that's not too bad. Anyway, I will get back to you once I have done my rounds with no increases. So I'm back to start round 14. Now I have taken the time to tidy up the loose ends inside, where I had to change yarn and where I started as well. So I've already weaved in my ends in there. Now for round 14, like I said, it's a decrease, so we're gonna start with 2 double crochets, and then we're going to double crochet 2 together. And we're going to repeat that 6 times over the round, and by the end of it we'll be back down to 18 stitches. So I believe we are gonna be decreasing 6 stitches in total. I'm going to get on and do that, and we are going to have to start stuffing the body at that point, after round 14. So I will come back to you once I have finished that round, and we are going to start stuffing the body so that it's a little bit firmer. Okay, so just going to stuff his body kind of lightly. We are down to 18 stitches, like I said, and then we've only got 2 more rounds to work, which are 15 and 16, both decrease rows. So I'm not going to stuff him fully at this point, just a little bit, because I've still got to crochet a little bit more and I don't want it getting in the way. Round 15 we are going to do 1 double crochet and then double crochet 2 together. We're going to repeat that 6 times across the round and end up with 12 stitches. So I will get back to you once I've done that. Okay, so I've given it some more stuff into the body. It's starting to be a little bit firmer. I'll probably stuff it a little bit more after the final round. Final round is just doing double crocheting 2 double crochet stitches together. Sorry, got a bit tongue-tied. Double crochet 2 together. We're going to do that 6 times all the way around, end up with 6 stitches, and then we're going to like fasten off and weave in ends and like all that sort of stuff. Like I said, I might try and stuff it again just before finishing, but that is pretty much the body, which is pretty good. I'm pretty happy with that. The unicorn does have a neck, and then we've just got to do his legs and his mane, and tail are left to do. So that's not too bad. So I'm going to do this final decrease round, give him his stuff, and I'll show you his body once he's complete. Okay, and that is his body complete. That is really, really cool. We've obviously got his neck to do, so his neck will go obviously at that end, and then we've got his 4 legs to do. So I will probably only show you, because the the legs they've done in foreleg and hind leg, so I'll probably only show you one leg of each of those on camera and make the other two off camera, and then it will be sorting out the mane as well. So we're moving on to the neck next. Okay, we're going to start with the neck for the unicorn. So we are going to be starting with a chain of 8, and then slip stitching until the first stitch to make it a circle. So just need to chain 8. Okay, so there I have my 8 chains. I am going to do a slip stitch into this first chain. I'm just going to go into the first loop. It doesn't specify, but I'm going to do it there. Okay, and then we need to work 1 DC into each one of those chain stitches. So I'm going to get on and do that, and then I'll come back to you once I've done that first round. Okay, it's quite tiny, so it's really difficult to show you, but I've worked 8 stitches all the way around, and now I need to do a second row where we're just doing a DC, so double crochet into each one of those rows again, and then we fasten off. It does say to leave like a long tail end so that you can sew the neck into place onto the head and the body. I've obviously not done that on that end. I hope that's not going to be too much of an issue, but hey. Anyway, I'm going to do that final row, and then I will get back to you once I have attached the head and the neck and the body. Just to show you this little guy, I've attached his neck roughly where I think it needs to go. Now, I haven't sewn it in like the best way, I don't feel, but it might just be me being fussy. Anyway, so we're going to get on and do the legs. Now the legs, the 2 front legs and the 2 hind legs are pretty much done in exactly the same way. The front legs we're going to be doing for 8 rounds. The hind legs are going to be a little bit shorter, because obviously with his body he is I suppose narrower at the front, and he's got more of a rear end. So the hind legs are actually 1 round shorter. I've read through the pattern, and basically they're exactly the same. It's just 1 less round, basically. I'm going to get on and do do the legs and then attach them. Okay, so you can see I have just started the round for one of the legs. So you do a magic ring, and then you put 6 double crochets into that magic ring, and then, like I said, you then need to work 8 rounds for the front legs, into working 1 double crochet into each of those stitches. Yeah, so for the front legs you're doing 8 rounds, for the hind legs you're doing 7 rounds. I would show you this on camera, but I think it's going to be like really fiddly for me to actually try and show you, so I'm going to do this off of camera and then show you the end result. Okay, so I just wanted to share with you the legs. So these 2 are like the front legs, these are the hind legs. There is a slight difference in their sizes, only very slight though, but I've got to attach them to this guy now, so that's what I'm going to get on and do. I just wanted to show you how small they were. I don't know whether he's actually going to stand. It'll be interesting to see. I haven't stuffed him like massively, so we'll see. After attaching the legs, we've just got his hair to kind of put on. and that'll be it. So that's really, really great. I'm really happy with how he's coming along. So I'm going to be interested to see how to do the hair, I think. Although I have been doing a few plushes with hair anyway, so I think it's probably going to be a similar thing. So I'll let you know when I get to that part, and yeah, I'll be back in a bit. This is my little unicorn so far. All I've got left to do is add the mane and tail. So for that, in the pack was long strands of this coloured yarn. Now it asks us to cut it in half. I think it's about 100 centimetres. Now the reason why I say that, does it work out 100 centimetres? Yeah, it does work out 100 centimetres, because it asks you to cut it in half and then to cut it in half again. So you've got 4 pieces, and then each of those 4 sections you're going to put 2 to the mane, 2 to the tail of the unicorn. Now to add them, well, we're going to start with the mane. So I don't know if you can see that. Sorry, I'm trying to make sure that my hand is in shot. I'm not used to using this sort of like little tripod thing. So we are going to be putting the mane into like these little rounds, and we're going to use those as a guide. So we're going to do like the 2 colours next to each other. I think that's the way I want to do it, and then work our way down. I don't think I'm going to do them in a particular order. I think I'm just going to start with what I feel like and then kind of go from there. But I will try and show you how you attach them. I might not be able to do it on camera. If I can't do it on camera, then I will just show you what it looks like. Okay, so I've managed to cut the yarn into the 4 pieces. So I'm going to put 2 of those pieces aside for the tail, and then we'll work on that in a bit. Sorry, just moving all the stuff out of my way. And now we are going to be working on the mane. So I'm going to be going into, like I said, these spaces here, and I'm going to start off with, the purple, I think. Okay, and then what I'm going to do is put now this crochet hook is smaller than I've crocheted the stitches. So I'm using a 2.5, and I think I used a 3/4 actually crocheting in my piece. It might have been a 3.5 actually. I'm gonna try and center him a bit there. So I've got my crochet hook. With the first bit of yarn, you're gonna want to fold it in half. Okay, and then we're gonna grab that loop. Okay, maybe we won't grab the loop. We will grab the loop, and we will pull the loop through. Okay, and then we've got a bit on this side. We're going to put these 2 strands through the loop and then fasten it. Okay, and that's how you basically put his mane on. I'm going to carry on doing this off of camera because it's really, really awkward, because I'm trying to look through the screen to actually find out where I need to put the crochet hook. So I'm going to do the rest of it off camera, and I will come back to you once I've finished the mane and show you what it looks like. Okay, so this is the mane. Now it does say to split the yarn to get like the curly effect. I'm going to do that right at the end, and I'll show you what it looks like. Now, to attach his tail with the yarn that I've got left over, with a bit of white yarn, which I have got. I've actually got quite a lot of yarn left from making him. Now I need to cut enough so that I can knot all of that together and then attach it to his body. So I'm going to do that off camera, and like I said, I'll come back and I'll show you what he looks like when he's completely and utterly done. Okay, so I wanted to show you this last bit. I did say I was going to show you him when he was completely done, but I just wanted to show you that to get the curly effect, it does tell you to like split the yarn. So what I tend to do, and I haven't got it to hand, is just get a little sewing needle, and just pull it apart, the yarn, and you can just work it up the strands, and you see it separates and it will end up curly. So I'm going to carry on with that off camera, and I'll show you finally what he looks like. Right, so this is the finished unicorn. I've sorted out all his hair so it's all like curly and looks all frizzy. It was fairly easy to make and put together. I'll show you what he looks like from the other side. He doesn't stand easily. He's a bit of a pain to get to stand. There's a couple of things I'd actually change if I was to do this pattern again. The neck section, I probably wouldn't do that at all. I would probably attach his head to his body directly. I just find that it makes him a little bit difficult to stand sometimes. Now that may not be to do with my placement rather than the pattern, so it might be the way where I've actually sewn it into the body, but I'm still not entirely convinced that it's like altogether necessary. Also, I'd love to do him in a chunky yarn and actually get you know, a bigger size, so I might do that. If I do that, I'll share a short video showing the unicorn off, but I actually quite like the pattern overall. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up. Leave me a comment if you've got any questions. Also leave them in the comment section, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.